Okay, so we're going to start where we left off with Dr. Klinghart's study, or Dr. Klinghart's video, where he was talking about the University of Athens study and the 143 brain proteins that are altered as use of cordless phones. And you see there in the red font and below that recovery is only possible from avoidance of EMFs, especially during sleep time. Next slide. So the items that you see under the second bullet there, measurable parameter changes, these are the 5 things he identified. One of them is immediate, which is the copper level in the blood serum increases, indicating chronic inflammation that is suddenly there. And he basically makes a conclusion that some people feel these immediate changes, headaches, nauseousness, dizziness, etc., and other people don't. When you look at the blood labs, they look just as bad for 2 people living together, like a husband and wife. He said the worst exposures are to children and unborn children. With pregnant women, RFR is concentrated on the inside of the womb. So if you're measuring on the outside, you're not really getting a true picture of what the baby is being exposed to. I think this is a very important fact that he brought out in this video. And then he said, okay, for pregnant women not to have autistic children, this is, what I have found is a good rule of thumb. The sleeping environment cannot be any more than 5 microwatts per meter squared. So next slide, we're going to show you where that fits into the standards. First one is the FCC standards in microwatts per meter squared. Typically in America, we use microwatts per centimeter squared. So this is to compare the standards to the bioinitiative report and the building biology. And you see his recommendation of 5 microwatts per meter squared is where the red arrow is. And that falls almost at the building biology level, because the bioinitiative report is less than 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. So you really have to do mitigation measures to get it down this low. Next slide. So this was one of the questions that came up in the forum. And it's like, how come the energy companies are saying smart meters aren't as bad as cell phones? So they give this slide showing that the cell phones at the ear have that big red bar. And then the smart meters, which is the third item down 3 feet away, you can't hardly see it. So I put a chart that's revised from Mr. Daniel Hirsch, who is an expert in radiation for gamma radiation, which is ionizing. And he says the results to the body are very similar. They're cumulative, which is not recognized for low-level RFR, but they are cumulative. And when you do standardized whole body exposures as opposed to the ear, you get very different results. So next slide. So now you see that third area there with the smart meter, it's all the way up. And that first column is all low because the units have been standardized. The bar chart revised to show cell phones are less harmful than smart meters using whole body exposure standardization. Again, going back to Dr. Klinghart's #1 effect on the body for detrimental effects is smart meters. Next slide. These are typically the things that people complain about with smart meters, which are very vast and different. Leg cramps, eye problems, fatigue, sleep problems, heart palpitations. Dr. Klinghart said in this video that when you have a racing heart and it's erratic, that's the first sign before many other things happen. So to be aware that that might be a warning sign that you got to do mitigation measures as soon as possible. Next slide. So this is his set of protocols to mitigate EMF injuries. Turn off all the fuses in the house, particularly at the bedroom. No wireless in the house. I had mentioned this before about the incandescent light bulbs to be used instead of the compact fluorescent. It's very hard to get incandescent light bulbs. I don't even think that they're available on sites that are selling them because there's been a ban on incandescent light bulbs, and you have to really scratch your head as to why when they're so much safer for you. And again, Dr. Klinghart talks about these CFL light bulbs being filled with mercury vapor, and that the frequency is emitted from that light bulb and rides the light waves, and it actually penetrates the body, stirring up toxins. and they settle specifically in the brain and the spinal cord and hormone producing glands. So it's really a big deal there to think about what your light sources are in your house. And he said you can still get these bulbs. They're sold incandescent under heat lamps, but they're very expensive. If there's nowhere else to get them, they still may be sold there under a different purpose. And again, he talks about the 5 microwatts per meter squared, and that he says that can be achieved with Y-shield paint and silver-backed curtains, which are the Swiss shield. Next. So here's our cliffhanger that I talked about before. This video is a must-watch at the 3-minute and 17-second mark, where this woman from the UK talks about what she did to get her smart meter off her house. It is a solution I have never heard about before. I'm not going to give away the cliffhanger. I would like everybody who is watching this video to definitely click on that link and watch that 3-minute 17 mark where she says, this was the last thing that I did after I tried everything else, and it worked. And she helps at least 10 people do the same thing. It's a matter of what steps you take to negotiate this with your power company, and she has a winning trick there, and I think you'll find it entertaining and get a good laugh from that. So we'll get comments back on this video when we do our next smart meter presentation. The second thing there was a fix from Bill Bathgate. He recommended on the inside wall to put hardy backer cement board and 2 layers of regular screen mesh. You staple the mesh to the wall and you put the hardy board on in front of it. And he said that you have a really good protection from smart meter radiation coming in your house and whatever wall you put that on. Next. So this is another sleeper issue about the street light canopies. I thought that this was an optional installation in the infrastructure for smart cities, but apparently it is the pivot point of smart cities. And I found out what it takes to make a smart city, and you'll see that in another 2 slides. I want to show you, I don't know, do you want to play this or do you want to let them do that themselves, Jenny? It says play at 30-second mark. Go back. Do you want to click on that link and play that for a minute? The link above there on that page. No, go back. See the blue link up there? Yeah, click on that and at the 30-second mark and play it for a minute. Can you do that? If not, they can do it themselves. I don't know how. Okay, let's not do that. It's an animation of the street light canopy that you see in the yellow dashed line. I'd recommend to click on that link when you get a copy of this presentation and play it from the 30-second mark to 1 minute and 30 seconds. And it shows you how the lights are going to be the backbone for this canopy in smart cities, and that it will be the dashboard to control all the sensors in the smart city. So next slide. Could you go to the next slide, Jenny? Yeah. Oops.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I couldn't find my unmute. All right, let's try this again. Can you see this?
Yeah, go to the next slide. That's the light canopy. Go to the next slide. Are you able to get that next slide?
Oh, I'm on 2 separate ones. I apologize. Hang on. Do you see it?
No, it didn't come up yet. It's on the, it doesn't look like it's part of, it looks like you're on a different,
hang on.
You're on a different page. You have it there on the screen. It's there on the screen now, but it's on the wrong page. You're on page 22. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Nope.
Technical difficulties.
Right now, all that's showing is you and my Virginians for Safe Tech.
Okay, hang on. I know I stopped share for a minute and my whole bar went away. So you gotta bear with me for a second. All right, I'm gonna share screen and here's what I'm gonna do here. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, the slide after that. One slide more.
Okay.
These are the sensors that are going to be plug and play ecosystem solutions for a diverse set of uses. So all these will be controlled through your lights, and they'll have a dashboard with software that will send signals to all these sensors through the lights. And smart meters are an option to add on to these. So smart meters will be talking to your light posts, and they may be in smart cities, or it might be in your neighborhood now. We don't know. You have to ask questions and find out. Next slide. So this is how the light canopy works. You have your LED lights, which creates the canopy, plus your smart sensors, plus your smart meters equals a smart city, a smart community, or a smart area, and it equals digital transformation. So that's the equation right there that makes a smart city. I didn't know this until I did this presentation. I thought it was having just a bunch of sensors in a smart city, but no, it's this integrated mesh network that works through your streetlights. Next. And every streetlight becomes a transmitter. So here are the smart meter problems, and there are many, and this was sourced from Smart Meter Harm. Everything in red is the stuff that pertains to fire or are the higher order priority issues, and you can see things like lack of surge protection, overheating, interference, flammable lithium batteries. Next slide. No UL certification, vulnerability to hacking. The software end of this is huge. It's just as bad as the hardware. There's a whole software industry booming up on smart meter applications to talk to all these sensors and to be controlled through anybody's phone. And whoever signs up to be one of these software vendors will have access to your data. Next. So these were the resources we used, and I would definitely recommend going to some of these. There's some really good information on these websites. EHS Trust, smartmeters.org, and EMF Safety Network were really heavily relied upon for this presentation. Next. And this is just a copy of the opt-out forms that we've talked about previously. And that ends the presentation. I'm sorry for the delay in getting the second half to you, but hopefully you'll have some questions for us. You can definitely send them in the email. Check out our affiliate links, and we'll hope to see you the next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.